It's Wednesday morning, and Donald Trump is urgently calling in the cavalry.
This morning in other news, President-elect Donald Trump has asked the Supreme Court to block his criminal sentencing that is set for Friday in New York over his 34 felony counts of falsifying business records.
But on a Supreme Court often described as bought and paid for, there still may be a fly or two in a black robe that could land in the ointment and ooze of corruption that currently covers the highest court in the land. And that revelation in today's breaking report from the Hill, it might just be the catch that catches Team Trump and their collective legal posteriors like a painful splinter from a decaying bench. And as we're about to report in just a second, it is that catch that could torpedo the endless legal wranglings that we've seen these legal beagles dog down, it seems, forever.
What you're seeing here from Donald Trump's legal team is just another tactic, of course, to delay his sentencing scheduled for Friday even further. They're picking apart everything, frankly, that Judge Merchan has done and challenging him and now suing him on the grounds, obviously, of saying that Merchan exceeded his jurisdiction when he denied Trump's claim of presidential immunity last week. Of course, this comes as they're asking the judge to halt that sentencing scheduled for Friday. The DA, for his part, responded to that and said that they believe that the sentencing should go forward. The judge obviously has said he intends to have that sentencing and that hearing for Friday. So we'll see if this, what they're doing tonight at least, this lawsuit against Alvin Bragg and the judge overseeing this, Juan Merchan, if this actually works at all in terms of furthering their delay.
So here's an article of faith, actually a report breaking from the Hill earlier today. And as you'll see, the aforementioned fly in the ointment of anointment, well, she may be the last chance to see the truth about Trump revealed. So here we go. According to the Hill, Trump asked Supreme Court to block New York criminal sentencing. President-elect Trump asked the Supreme Court to block his sentencing on Friday on 34 New York felony counts of falsifying business records. Trump's emergency application asked the court to prevent the hush-money prosecution from moving ahead until his appeals implicating presidential immunity are resolved. President Trump is currently engaged in the most crucial and sensitive tasks of preparing to assume the executive power in less than 2 weeks, all of which are essential to the United States' national security and vital interest. Trump's attorneys wrote, forcing President Trump to prepare for a criminal sentencing in a felony case while he is preparing to lead the free world as President of the United States in less than 2 weeks imposes an intolerable and unconstitutional burden on him that undermines these vital national interests, they added. Now, here's the catch. By default, the appeal will go to Justice Sotomayor, who handles emergency matters arising from New York. She could act on the application alone or refer it to the full court for a vote. Sotomayor ordered prosecutors to file their response to Trump by 10 a.m. Eastern Time on Thursday, just under 24 hours before the sentencing is set to begin. In May, the New York jury found Trump guilty on 34 counts of falsifying business records stemming from a payment made to an adult film star during his 2016 presidential campaign to cover up an alleged previous affair, which Trump denies. It made Trump the first former president to be convicted of a felony, but he successfully delayed his sentencing until after the election. Now, he hopes to prevent it from taking place before his inauguration later this month. The president-elect claims this historic case must be dismissed because of a twofold immunity claim. His attorneys argue the trial was tainted by evidence protected by the Supreme Court's new immunity test for former presidents, and the prosecution must also be tossed to accommodate Trump's status as president-elect. Judge Juan Merchan, who oversees the trial proceedings, rejected those arguments and scheduled the sentencing for Friday, just 10 days before the inauguration. The judge has said he is inclined to impose no jail time or punishment for Trump if the sentencing moves forward and will allow him to appear virtually. Trump's emergency appeal at the Supreme Court comes after a mid-level New York appeals court refused to block the proceedings on Tuesday. Trump's attorneys said they will also be filing with New York's top court, but are bringing it to the Supreme Court simultaneously, given the short time frame. The Supreme Court's historic decision on immunity, the Constitution, and established legal precedent mandate that this meritless hoax be immediately dismissed. Stephen Chung, a Trump spokesperson and his incoming White House communications director, said in a statement, "The American people elected President Trump with an overwhelming mandate that demands an immediate end to the political weaponization of our justice system and all of the remaining witch hunts," he continued. "We look forward to uniting our country in the new administration as President Trump makes America great again." Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg's office has also opposed delaying the sentencing, noticing that it was only pushed past the election at Trump's request. When reached for comment, Bragg's spokesperson Danielle Filson said, "We will respond in court papers." Trump's new filing was signed by D. John Sauer, his intended nominee to become U.S. Solicitor General, who represents the administration before the Supreme Court. Sauer is one of the president-elect's personal criminal defense attorneys and previously represented him in his presidential immunity fight before the High Court. In a masterful campaign of kick the can of guilt and culpability down the road until it lands and decays on Pennsylvania Avenue, Trump has proved his talent time and time again. But now it's up to the Honorable Justice Sonia Sotomayor to make the next and decisive move.